good afternoon to Inside Right, episode 7. You're back, John Beach. You're back.
This is my fifth appearance.
Fifth
Inside Right.
time. As many Ballon d'Ors as Cristiano Ronaldo.
Pretty easy get, I think, aren't I? You know.
Very easy get.
Very easy get.
Don't charge anything.
Free. Available.
First guest of August and first guest of September.
Does this make me a co-host?
Nah.
How many do I have to do to be a co-host?
Well, you say this every time. You're not a co-host.
But like 10?
You're just like...
Can I get a number?
You're the panic button.
Wow.
I'm getting picked on.
the guest you have when you can't get a guest.
Yeah.
It makes me feel really good.
The panic button. No. In all seriousness, you're one of my best guests
That's
to
great.
get on because you're very easy to talk with.
Well, let's go. What's on the agenda? I just said watch the Socceroos.
Yep. Socceroos
2-2 against
2-2. Mexico.
Very good. Terrible surface though. I mean, you'd be
Synthetic
pissed
grass.
off if you had to play bloody under 16s Lillipilly on that surface.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
It looked terrible.
It was terrible. Every time the ball was kicked, this black shit would come up and
artificial.
I don't understand how they can play NFL on it because it was at Arlington Stadium, right? So I don't know.
And plus, I thought athletes had things in their contract saying they can't train or play on synthetic because it's like a 23% increased chance of an ACL injury.
Look, to all, I'm not a fan of Graham Arnold.
No.
Personally, I've just observed him in a few social settings and stuff. But as it relates to controversial, I'm teeing off on the Socceroos coach early.
He just did one of the great World Cup runs.
But he does. I mean, he organises his teams very well. He likes a certain type of player. Someone like Jackson Irvine epitomises the Kieran Backuses of the world. Those guys, really upbeat, high intensity midfielders. Good, big, he likes big, tall defenders. He's got their new boy in Burgess, who's about the same height as Harry Suter.
Yeah.
And, plays a certain way. Probably going to get beaten by the big teams around the world. They underestimate us when they play us, no doubt.
Yeah.
Mexico coming off the Gold Cup win would have expected they're 15th in the world. Well, I don't know what
something
we are.
Like that. With 28.
Yeah, I was going to say 30th. So they would have underestimated us. They came out after half time a lot more organised, aggressive, made a couple of substitutions. The boy with the big hair came on for his Huerta for his debut, scored the equalising goal.
The Mexico Fellaini.
Saved their blushes, I guess, because for them that's going to feel like a loss. 2-2 against the Socceroos. For us, we'll chalk that up to being a good result, leading into some pretty big competitions in the not too distant future.
Well, we've got England soon, don't we? That'll be a good game.
Yeah, it's funny, old England and Australia rivalry, right? Because there's all this history between this big brother, little brother kind of thing. But England are not as scary as they were, right? So they could be. I mean, but let's
Wrong management.
Well, I think, look, Gareth Southgate, I'm going to sound like there's managers that I love, by the way, and I'm happy to have a session talking about the ones that I love. But Gareth Southgate is not on that list.
No. I can agree with that.
They do not take enough risks.
Yeah.
They have generational talents at their disposal.
Yeah.
Generational talents.
Yeah.
Trent Alexander-Arnold. And if you're probably going to think, Liverpool fan, blah, blah, just...
Saka. Foden.
Who would we play the last game we played against...
Bellingham.
No, the last club game Liverpool played.
Villa.
Trent, it's against Villa. Just watch Trent on that game. He's a generational talent when it comes to passing the ball. Jack Grealish. Guys, Phil Foden.
Bellingham.
Jude Bellingham. Well, he's at least starting. But
Rice.
My point is, and he starts with Harry Maguire.
Harry Maguire. Chilwell.
Jordan Henderson. I'm a big Jordan fan, right?
Yeah.
But Jordan's past it.
He's playing in the Saudi League.
He's playing in the Saudi League. He took the cash, but it wasn't for the money, right?
No,
it wasn't. It was for the challenge.
Yeah.
But he took the cash. He buggered off. Mate, if you're playing week to week against a bunch of blokes that no one's ever heard of, you can't expect to start for England. Harry Maguire's got no right to be in the same postcode as the English bloody football team.
Yeah.
It's just disgraceful.
Yeah.
It's an outrage. It's a fucking disgrace. That's what it is. Excuse my language. But honestly, if you're English, you'd be pissed off. If you just drew 1-1 with Ukraine, you should have wiped the floor with them, to be fair.
Yeah.
And you've got players and talent and guys that are playing week in, week out for their clubs. And Gareth Southgate picks his mates, people he likes, the teacher's pets. I can't stand it. I hate it. Gareth Southgate out.
He's
never won a thing.
Yeah,
Because you know the English, and the other problem with England? The other problem with England is they settle, they think a semi-final is good. They have street parades. They meet people meeting them off planes, and if they finish third or fourth, not good enough.
Yeah.
You don't see Argentina celebrating when they get kicked out in the semi-final.
Yeah. Or Brazil.
It's a fucking national disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're English and we don't have big expectations and blah blah blah. It's coming home and all that bullshit. And then they finish fourth and third and they celebrate it.
FYI, we are going to the UK soon to do an episode, and you're bagging the English.
Look, if we run into Gareth Southgate, I'm happy to tell him. Let me tell you, Gareth, has Harry Maguire got pictures of you and a donkey on your phone or something? Because in all seriousness, there's no reason Harry Maguire. I mean, he did finish the game the other day for United. If you remember, against Arsenal, it was him and Johnny Evans. Yeah. But that's a whole different level of piss take that we don't need to get into today.
You're versing Arsenal, and you're like 10 minutes to go. I know what to do. Let's take both my centre backs off and put on Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans.
We're up against Saka, Martinelli,
Odegaard.
Jesus, Odegaard.
Yeah.
Who's the
Fabio, Vieira.
And Havertz. Yeah,
Havertz is pretty shit.
Yeah, but give him a chance. But the point is, let's put our two most experienced guys on. Harry Maguire and Johnny
45-year-old Johnny Evans.
Anyway, I'm sure you've got an agenda, but you mentioned England. Good job, Graham. Well done. Let's see if we win the Asian Cup.
Yeah. Well, yeah, let's hope, actually. Well, I'll talk about it in another episode. But today's episode is pretty off the cuff, so I do have a follow-up question to the England talk. Who's next if Gareth Southgate leaves? Pep? That's a rumour. Or Serena Vigman?
Okay,
the women's coach.
So, let's talk about this. You've got to. People like Gareth, right? Because he's very English. You know what I mean? Looks good in a three-piece suit. Doesn't speak out of turn. Sits there looking intelligent with his legs folded. Like watching the games. Blah blah blah. Doesn't says all the right things. But Gareth Southgate was like as a player. In my opinion, just didn't really. He I don't think he's going to inspire me.
Yeah, okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like when Gareth stands up at half time and says, right, lads, blah, blah, blah. I want someone who's going to make me run through brick walls, you know?
High expectations, high standards.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got high standards. I'm not putting
He plays Harry Maguire as a starter. High standards.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's that.
Luke Shaw.
Let's get over it. Let's move on and say, and he only coached mid-table English Premier League teams without any huge degree of success. I want someone with the talent at the disposal of the English, the young talent especially coming through, the Bellinghams,
Saka,
the Sakas, the Grealishes, the Fodens, the midfielder who's the young boy from
Calvin Phillips.
He started too. I mean, here's a disgrace. Jordan Phillips
Barely
and Calvin
played,
Henderson.
yeah.
Come on, man. You've got the kid from Nottingham Forest. Double-barreled last name.
Morgan Gibbs-White.
Players like this, right? Talented players.
Yeah.
Give them a chance. Wouldn't we rather have a crack?
Yeah.
And actually have a real crack at them and
this talent?
Rather than just, it's like right back Kyle Walker. I mean, to be fair, he scored this morning.
I think he's a pretty decent right back, to be honest with you.
Anyway, let's move on.
All right. You didn't give me the answer, though. Who would be your first pick for the next England coach?
Pep Guardiola.
And if not, do you go with Serena? Oh. That'd be history making.
Yeah, I wouldn't pick her because she's a woman. I would don't look.
No.
If I felt that she was the best coach available, I'm going to pick her.
Yeah.
And I probably, if there was two coaches that I thought there was her and another coach who I thought were exactly the same, with the success that she's had with the Lionesses in winning the Euros, I would pick her over that.
Yeah.
And you have to admire the Lionesses the way they go about.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately they got beat by Spain, aka Barcelona, on repeat. You know what I mean?
Reserve team as well, because 13 pulled out.
So good. But I guess my point is, I'd certainly consider it. There's no question. Not that she's an amazing coach.
Yeah.
It would be game changing to have a female coach in the male. I think it'd be fantastic.
Awesome. Let's talk about Ben Foster's retirement.
Yes.
Now he retired, I think, after going from being at Watford, and then came out of retirement to play for Wrexham.
Yep. Kicked ass.
And then 5-5 draw against, I forgot who it was, but 5-5 draw, and he just felt down. He said, obviously he's got high expectations. He's like, I let 5 in a 5-5 draw. So we called up the boss on Monday morning and said, I'm thinking of retiring. And these are the reasons why. And the Wrexham coach said, I disagree, but it's up to you, mate. He's retired. So thoughts on Ben Foster and his decision?
Well, first of all, he's got a fabulous career. He probably hasn't, I guess you could write his resume up a number of ways, right? You could say Ben Foster, England player, Man United player, those two things to start with. Just say he's elite.
Yeah.
Was he elite at goalkeeping? By the way, I'm a big fan, but I'm just saying,
no, he's not.
He's been very consistent goalkeeper in the mid leagues, with the likes of, with Watford and West Brom, and this is where he really clocked up his numbers as far as appearances goes. Goalkeepers have a tendency of getting better as they get older, and I feel that was very much the case with him.
Yeah,
he got better as a goalkeeper. They become much more confident. They organise their teams. They're the guys organising everything in the back. He had size. He had all the things a goalkeeper needed. Reflex saves. So look, fantastic keeper. Love that he went to Wrexham. It was part of that whole romance story of Wrexham. I love that.
Hollywood.
They pulled off that save in was it the last game of the season last year?
Yeah, a penalty save. Yeah.
So I think but you know what? When you know, you know.
Yeah.
I remember once. This is a few years ago. And I didn't rise to any great heights, but I was a goalkeeper, as you know, in the local leagues. And I got called back. I got a phone call to say if I would want to go back to play for the club that I had. And I hadn't played for 5 years. And this is might be 5. So this is 6 years ago. And I was 45.
I was going to say, were you 58? I'm joking.
No, I was 45. And I thought, 45, it's probably a lot fitter than I am now. But anyway, the point was I went back for a training session. And there was things and my brain wanted to do things. It's funny because your brain doesn't lose it, right? Your brain goes, okay, down right, down left, up, So, but your body doesn't react.
Physically can't.
You physically can't. And I remember, I had these 19, 20-year-old kids at the peak of their physical powers hitting balls at me. And I was going, I don't ever remember the ball being hit at me this hard. Now, it was.
Yeah.
But every save I was having to make was just hard to get up, and you were sore, and So I guess I ran the guy the next day and said, "Look, man, I really loved that. That was so cool to go back and 5 years after I retired to have a go. But the reality is that my body can no longer live up to my body can't cash the checks my brain is writing, right?
Yeah.
And so Ben's probably looking at it, going, you know what? People are going to be looking at me. It's Wrexham.
Yeah.
Do I want to be one of those guys that plays on a bit too long and it becomes the laughing stock?
Yeah. No.
No, you don't. Get out. He's got a very successful podcast. He's a great bloke by all accounts.
Yeah, love his podcast, by the way.
Yeah.
Him and Mark Goldbridge.
Yeah, love it. So, really happy. Really, really happy, mate.
That's good.
For him. Good decision.
Okay, that's good. International break is...
Okay.
First of all, do you like the international break?
Everybody hates the international break.
Yeah, fair enough.
Especially when you're only playing friendlies. It's different if you...
I get it. But summer Euro qualifiers...
for a tournament or something, it's cool, right?
Yeah.
I guess it's during the summer break anyway.
Just going to check the mic. Yeah, all good.
No, look, I don't think anyone likes it. Particularly, there's only one time I like the international break is when your club's having a bad run.
Yeah.
And you sort of feel like
draw,
magically the
loss,
teams are going to go away and maybe find a bit of form or something for the national team.
Yeah,
reset. Maybe Mo Salah's going to go and score a hat-trick for Egypt and come back. But reality was we were, from a Liverpool perspective, banging it before the break, right?
3-0 against Villa.
That Villa game, we just... Villa were really good last year and actually been quite good this year too.
They got the second most points this year.
Yeah. But oh my goodness, we just
without Verge or Konate.
Are we going to talk about our midfield rebuild today?
Yes, of course we are.
Because what he's been able to achieve in a very short space of time with a small amount of money, relatively speaking, is phenomenal.
Remarkable. Yeah.
But no, don't like the international break.
Don't like the international break. Well, let's go straight into the next round of the Premier League.
Hit me.
Hit me with your best shot. Oh, can't copyright. 9:30 game for Australia.
I don't think Pep Bennett's going to be too concerned.
Okay. Wolves versus Liverpool.
Slaughter.
A slaughter.
A slaughter
Away from
of
home.
The Wolves.
A slaughter of the
A
Wolves.
massacre at the Molineux.
A massacre at the Molineux.
There's a Peter Drury one for you.
Wow, a massacre at the... Wow.
A massacre at the Molineux where the Wolves got slaughtered by the Reds. There you go.
There you go.
I see it as being 4-5 or 6-1 or 1, probably nil.
6-1.
Yeah.
You're very confident.
Wolves have been very disappointing this year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They're going to struggle to stay up, in my opinion.
Yep.
They've lost.
Bought no one.
They've lost. Sorry.
Bought no one.
They also lost a couple of really key players.
Yeah.
Raul particularly,
Jimenez.
Jimenez. Not that he scored a lot of goals, but he has been a bit of a talisman for them.
Impact.
And he never quite was the player to come back from a pre-injury yet.
Yeah.
You know. But considering he was likely to play again, I'm just
Fractured
saying that.
skull.
And Neves for me.
What about Mateus Nunes?
Yeah, and well, that's the middle of the midfield. I mean, we almost bought Nunes, right?
Yeah.
He forced a move, which I never like seeing players do. But he forced a move, I should say. But he was great. He's gifted, right?
Yeah.
And he'll be one of those. If you're happy to go to City and play reserve grade, which is effectively what you have to do, you Calvin Phillips type move. You earn a bucket load of money. But you don't really play very often.
You play that 20 minutes a season.
And no one's buying your shirt. You know what I mean? There's no supporters walk in and go, ooh,
can I get Mateus Nunes?
How many Calvin Phillips, how many of his shirts have Man City shop sold?
I've no clue.
Yeah?
No clue.
There
wouldn't be many.
If he stayed at Leeds, how many would they sell? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I don't love these moves. I understand them. I don't love them with young players.
No.
When I see a player who's 24, 25, Neves going to Saudi, for example...
Yeah,
I shake my head because I'm going, mate, you are absolutely about to hit the
so
peak
much
of your
potential.
career.
Yeah.
Anyway, it is what it is, but I see it being a massacre. I honestly do.
So, for what did you say? Sorry, what was the score?
It's 5-0. Nunes with a hat trick, Salah with 1, and Jota to come on and score 1 at the end.
Oh, against his former club. All right, 3-0 to me. 3-0. I think it'll be a very comfortable win for us.
Yep.
Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace.
Villa at home.
Villa
for me,
need to come back with a win.
All day 2-0.
All day 2-0. I'll agree with that. All day 2-0. Fulham, Luton.
Luton are away.
Talk about Luton for a second. They're in the Premier League.
Yep.
How do you think they'll go? We've seen them play a few games now.
Look,
Thoughts on Luton?
everyone wants to say it's the old story, right? It's the romance of it comes up from the championship. But you know what? Welcome to 3 o'clock kickoffs. You know, if you don't have a squad that's capable of competing against the best players in the world, and the Premier League does have the majority of the best players in the world in one league, I think it's fair to say. Mate, you're going to get hammered, and I think they're going to get hammered. And I think that I don't think they're bored enough. I think it was very hard for them. They got a small ground. They got small turnover, small revenue. It can be very, very hard for them to stay up. I think they could be. I think they're going to be the first team relegated. I think it could be very early in the season,
like February,
maybe very much. And I think that Fulham have been good without being amazing.
Yeah,
and I like I think coach. I think Marco. What's his name?
Silva.
Good coach. Like what he does. Yep, Fulham all day for me.
Gotcha.
Probably 3-1.
3-1. I'll go 2-0 to Fulham. Manchester United, Brighton. What do we think of Manchester United? Because this has been poor, and I said this episode 1. I said they're just missing a spark. They're missing something. You know, they seem a bit all talk at the moment, and they're not really showing it. Yeah. And it's proven to be correct so far.
Well, it really should be an easy 3 points for Brighton.
Easy 3 points.
Away from home against those guys, you'd be disappointed if you lost, wouldn't you?
So, Eric Ten... Oh, my gosh. Eric Ten Hag...
They're not as bad as Luton, but, you know.
They're not as... Well, not as bad as
you
Luton.
can tell I'm being facetious.
Yeah.
However, you want to know what I think of United?
Yeah.
What do you think of United?
Well, so far this season, they've been extremely disappointing. You know, I think after last season, they looked like there was a bit of hope back into the team. They won a trophy. Eric Ten Hag, new manager, and in this season, it's been you would have expected another level up from last season, and we have not seen it. We've seen a level down.
You have to bring in talent. Well, Okay, let me start at the top. The biggest problem at United is the owners.
Glazers. Yep.
They're one of the biggest clubs in the world, and that pains me to say that, right? But you've got no idea how much that hurts, but they are, and they've got this huge amount of revenue, but they've also got a huge amount of debt.
Yeah.
Which has been placed on them by the Glazers, right? As I understand it, and then they've got to service that debt. So why haven't you seen United go out and spend $100 million on Kane? That would be the best buy they could have ever had. And you reckon Harry Kane wouldn't have gone to United? He would have gone to United every day of the week.
Yeah.
All right? And he would have gone for United for less than Caicedo went to Brighton.
Yeah.
Like, hello? Like,
Caicedo went to Chelsea, by the way.
Sorry, from Brighton to Chelsea. My point is, they're not spending the cash anymore, right?
Yeah.
So they've got this tricky situation because they brought in Amrabat only on loan. Like, I don't get it.
Was it a loan?
Yeah, it's a loan deal.
Really?
It's a season-long loan, and
I should have known that.
He only got through the World Cup through back injections, for his injury.
Who?
Amrabat. There's a reason apparently
Really?
apparently there's medical reasons. Obviously, things I'm reading, but there's medical reasons why Liverpool didn't want to touch him. So there you go.
Wow, because I thought he was very good at the World Cup.
So yeah, he was, and there's players that do have good World Cups as well. Like let's see how he goes. I mean, I feel that if you look at the players they've brought in recently, they brought in like Casemiro, great player, but obviously at the wrong end of his career.
Yeah.
They've brought back Johnny Evans. I'll say that one more time for the camera.
Johnny Evans.
They brought back
Johnny Evans from
Johnny
Leicester.
Evans, great player in his day. Don't get me wrong again, but come on, guys. They brought their who else did they bring in this season? They brought back in the midfielder. No, I can't remember his name.
Well, Sabitzer they got online, but he's gone.
No, sorry, the kid up front, the Haaland.
Loan. Hoytland.
Hoytland, that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah, like who's a bit of a risk, right? Because he's just will throw some money to
ErlingHaalandWish.com.
Well, yeah, but we'll throw some. So, I guess that's the first thing. So, fish rots from the head. When Liverpool had shit owners, when Gillette and Hicks had the business, had Liverpool, we were terrible.
Yeah.
We couldn't do a thing, right? It was just a horrible time during our history. Andy Carroll, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Also got Luis Suarez, by the way, but
yeah.
You get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're going through that period now. They've got shit owners. They don't care about the club.
Yeah.
Really care about the club.
Yeah.
So they're not buying players. No one wants to join them because they're not sure, right?
Yeah.
Which to the ownership leads to uncertainty.
Yeah.
They're in a really bad place.
Yeah.
I don't think United will ever be fixed until they have new owners. There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
But as far as Ten Hag's concerned, he's got a real problem now because public arguments with Jordan Sancho.
Yeah. Jaden
Sancho. Like, who does that, right? Like, in terms of now, there's two parts here. Number one is you don't call. I'm a believer that a manager should never call out a player in public.
100. I think it's just a bit immature.
You don't need to. I just think it's just the wrong approach.
There's no need
to player management because you can't take it back.
Yeah.
Right. But then I would be very upset if one of my players was speaking publicly about me as well. So he's got a real problem. This would never happen to Jurgen Klopp or Alex Ferguson or Pep.
No.
Because that player probably would never play again for the club.
Yeah.
Regardless of how good he was, right?
Well, look at João Cancelo.
Yeah, so I think...
On loan to Bayern. And now Barca.
I think they're going to struggle, mate. They are. I look around the United team and I see players like... they bought this goalkeeper. His ball account's reasonable, but...
Onana?
Yeah. Again, not a huge signing.
17 forward passes. What's he going to do? Pass them backwards?
He's not going to pass them backwards, is he? You've got Harry Maguire still there, and I call that a problem situation.
Yeah.
Because you paid big money for him, and so you've got the awkward situation where he was the captain of the club, and then you took it off him, and now he's still hanging around the dressing room. You know what I mean? Like, and then you've got guys like what's his name? Christian Eriksen.
Yeah.
Who again, beautifully gifted player, but wrong end of his career. Casemiro, wrong end of his career.
Yeah.
Struggle streak for this year, top 10.
Top 10.
Lucky mid-table.
Yeah, wow. Just as bad as Liverpool
But the problem
season?
is that they sacked Ten Hag. Like, what's
You
next?
can't.
You
Like,
can't,
surely.
right?
That's it. Like, that was it. Like, last hope. You know what I mean? After such a shit run.
So what I like to do with teams, right, when they have this argument, is think of, and I'm obviously going to talk about Liverpool, but we can use Liverpool or Man City as an example here.
Yeah.
How many players from your team make my team? Okay?
Yeah.
Now, if we were having an argument with City, we'd probably find that City had like 6
And we had 5.
and we had 5.
Yeah.
Yeah? And we'd go fair
happy
enough.
with- yeah.
But if you go with United, how many keeper's not going to make it.
No.
Against Verge and Canate, they're not going to make it.
No.
And Robbo and
Trent's
they're not going to make it.
Diego Dallo doesn't make it.
Our midfield currently of
Sabozlai, McAllister.
McAllister,
and
Zabobzlai, and
take your pick in defensive midfield, whether Thiago, Endo, or Bajcetic.
or Bajcetic.
Would you put Casemiro there?
Yeah, he's the only one that gets a shout, right?
Yeah.
And then you look at our front three: Diaz, Nunes, and Mo Salah. You could argue that
Do you chuck
maybe
Rashford in there?
Rashford could go in for Diaz.
So I'd put him as a forward.
No, Marcus Rashford. Darwin Nunes' right foot's got more talent than Marcus Rashford.
Okay, well, I think Luis Diaz is better than Darwin Nunes.
I think that
Personally.
he might be good right now, but I think Darwin Nunes is a freak show, man. He just hasn't been wired together right yet.
Okay.
Yeah, he's having these sessions with Bielsa, the Argentine coach. He's been having those video sessions and stuff. He's teaching them how to drop off one defender, put pressure on there. He hasn't learnt some of the arts of being a centre forward yet.
Yeah.
But he's frightening.
Yeah.
The guys that you hear Gary Neville say Gary Neville said the other day, goes, he'd be frightening, like in the same way that Haaland is frightening.
But different, though. I think Haaland's very just boo, boo, boo. Well, I think
that
Nunes is more silky, but just moves.
I get it. But you can't really compare them yet because Haaland's all over Nunes statistics-wise right now. But I believe that Darwin Nunes is supremely gifted. And even Ronaldo was asked the other day who he thought the best striker in the world was. And he said the best striker in the world. He said there's some good play. He named a few of them and he goes, but the Uruguayan at Liverpool is the most special for me.
Cristiano said that.
Cristiano.
Really?
Really?
You're not joking.
I promise you. I swear. Look, I swear on your sister's life.
I watch I see a lot of posts.
That was a really bad handshake, by the way. Can we do that again? Thanks very much.
Yeah, which is awkward.
Boys and Bruce well.
Boys and Bruce well. Okay, let's wrap that up. Man United, Brighton, back to what we're supposed to be doing. Score prediction.
Brighton will win that 3-1.
3-1. I'm going 1-1. Tottenham, Sheffield.
Yep.
Oh, no, we've got to talk about Ange. I know we're maybe cut for time, but Ange Postecoglou. Yeah, sure, whatever. I'm loving Ange Ball instead.
And through it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ange Postecoglou. Amazing.
No.
Class.
I'm going to start crying in a minute. Like, he's, mate, I love Ange. Absolute Ange.
Tottenham's
if you ever
treasure.
listen to this, mate, you're going to be the next Liverpool coach. When Klopp goes, you're in, mate. You are tailor-made. You are the down the line of Bill Shankly, Bob Paisley, Jurgen Klopp. You are the next one, mate.
Yeah, well.
You are.
Angefield.
You were born. They're going to rename it Angefield, and Wes made that up, and it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
But you are going to be the end. But he is. You know what? They said he couldn't do it here. The naysayers, the fuckwits like Robbie Slater, the pundits, they're the guys that made Ange leave.
Sorry, you just said fuckwits on the podcast.
Yeah,
right, sure.
They're the guys that made Ange leave and leave the Australian national team.
Yeah.
As taking the Brazilian World Cup and then leaving. Because anyway, I'm not going to get into that because it pisses me off. But everyone's just telling Ange what he can't do, right?
Yeah.
And he just does it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Asian Cup, bang. Right. Melbourne victory, Brisbane Roar. I mean, I remember watching Brisbane Roar under Ange when he had the boy from Germany, who I thought was the best import the A-League's ever had. It'll come to me a bit later. Okay. But even he said, that stage of his career.
What about when he had South Melbourne?
Yeah, absolutely.
They versed United in the Club World Cup.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
South Melbourne, mate. That was Ange's team, right? And then he went to Japan and just killed it.
Blitzed
right?
it,
Blitzed it. And not just, but blitzed it.
Yeah.
And don't forget, Arsene Wenger came from Japan as well.
Yeah.
And I remember reading, as soon as I heard he was going to Celtic, I started to follow all the Celtic podcasts, right? There's always been a strong bond between Celtic and Liverpool as well, too, with Dalglish and a bunch of Robertson and a whole bunch of other things, right?
Verge.
But for years that's been the case. And I remember all these guys, I remember jumping on and defending Ange, because all these Scottish guys, no, never heard of Ange Postecoglou, can't even see his last name, Jimmy. And I was getting on going, mate, you don't understand how good this guy is.
Yeah.
Respectfully, he's too good. I'm surprised he's going to Celtic.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, I love you, Ange. I think you're amazing.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing. What?
Ange fan club. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a fan of Ange? Big Ange?
What you guys have been saying.
Gotta love Ange
Isaac Appleton.
Postecoglou. Australian icon.
Mate, he's just taking out, and the way he deals with the press, the self-deprecating way that he presents himself. I love it. I love what you're doing. He will. At least Tottenham will play the type of Tottenham are always respected for playing great football.
Yeah.
Yeah, Glenn Hoddle, Chris Waddle.
Hoddle and Waddle.
Yeah, Hoddle and Waddle. Steve Archibald. I could name 1,000 players. I know you've had Sanj on this podcast, and
Yeah.
it was funny because Spurs were always my second favourite team for two reasons. Number one, they played great football, and number two is
They played shit against
never beat
us. Yeah. Yeah.
So
3-point lane. Anyway. Tottenham, Sheffield. I'm going 4-0.
Oh, Tottenham would destroy them 4-5-0.
4-5-0. All right. West Ham, Man City. 2-2 for me. 2-2.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. You
Positive
wanted,
thinking.
I know you want this to be a draw.
Positive thinking.
I'm going to leave the emotion out of it and say City are going to win 3-1.
All right, sure. Well, anyway, there's been a few occasions at London Stadium where it has been a 2-2.
I love
draw.
West Ham, and I David Moyes for me is finally.
The Hammers.
Yeah, I think I love West Ham. I caught a plane one day with them, right? From Auckland to. Did I tell you about this?
Yes, that's right. They went on the
sat
tour.
Next to Sam Allardyce.
Right?
Remember I tell you that?
Big Sam.
Yeah.
Sat next to Big
He's not
Sam.
that big, by the way. But anyway,
No, they call him Big Sam.
it was me, Sam Allardyce, the goalkeeping coach, and then there was Kevin Nolan, who was up front, and then
wow.
the whole team at that
Mark
stage.
Noble?
Yeah, Mark Noble was
Yeah.
there, and they just played the tournament in New Zealand. And I just chewed Sam's ear off for about 2 or 3 hours on the plane. And he was awesome.
What are you talking about?
Football. He was surprised. Because in England they have this thing where the rest of the world doesn't know about football, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
well, not as much as them.
no,
of
but
course.
that's why they don't take on so many. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
He's like, how do you know so much about football? Well, not that I was learning about football, but he was surprised to sit next to because he thought it was going to be rugby league,
Yeah.
AFL,
Yeah.
And I explained to him I grew up in the UK, but what an interesting guy. What an interesting guy.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
There you go.
Very interesting.
Newcastle, Brentford. That's a good fixture, actually. Two very evenly matched teams.
Yeah, I predicted, if you go back to my initial podcast for the season, I predicted Newcastle would struggle to go back-to-back this year.
Yep.
In terms of the levels they were reaching last year. At home, St James's Park, they'll get it, but it'll be 2-1.
I'm going 3-2. Goal fest. Bournemouth, Chelsea. All tight game. Very
Bottom of the table clash here too.
Yeah, bottom of the table. Relegation battle.
Bottom of the table, we've got, who's the manager of Chelsea? Todd Bowley, is that his name?
The manager?
Yeah.
You mean the owner?
No, I mean the manager. Doesn't he? They got another guy. But Todd Bowley's the manager, isn't he?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I'm sure
he's playing fantasy football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I'll get. Yeah, did you see his bench the other day? Oh, they've got so much. It's fantasy football. It's ridiculous.
And if you think about it, okay, let's just say fantasy football actually had unlimited spend, and you had just like all the 9.5s in your team. So you've got Son, Sterling.
Yeah.
However, that's not the best way to go about it. Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah.
That's not the best way to go about it, right?
I'm not a fan of Bruno.
You need to be smart, right? James Maddison, 7.5. Stuff like that.
Yeah, it's probably building a team. Look, Bournemouth. It's at the Amex. Not the Amex. At the
Vitality.
Vitality.
Yeah.
Oh, Chelsea. Raheem's been keeping them afloat.
Just.
2-2.
2-2.
Yeah.
I'm going.
The big bloke from.
I'm going 2-1 Chelsea. I think they'll win.
Okay.
They've got to win. They have to. Imagine Pochettino's job's got to be, in some danger.
That would be, but that'd be a 10
If
Hag
Bournemouth,
situation.
yeah.
Where do you go next?
Yeah.
Go back to Graham Potter.
All right, Everton, Arsenal. Sean Dyche needs the points too. He does. If not, if he can't win in the next 2 games,
Where
sacked.
is it?
Goodison.
Look, Sean Dyche will try and bore Arsenal out of the game.
Yeah.
But he's very good at that, right?
Yeah. I think it'll work
He did it
for
at
him.
Burnley for years.
Yeah.
So I don't. I think Arsenal's got too much talent.
Okay.
I think as long as Arsenal have Saka and Rice back in good condition from the international break.
Yeah.
Did you see Saka's shot on the weekend? Oh,
Just outrageous.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Anyway, Saka for me.
And you think Foden's better?
No, I'd like to see Foden playing more and then make that assessment.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, they're both beautifully talented
Yeah.
players.
I'll go 1-0. Arsenal. It's going to be one of those games.
2-0 Arsenal. Sean Dyche definitely on the chopping block.
Yep,
But again,
okay.
who else do you bring in?
Exactly. Nottingham Forest, Burnley.
Yeah.
Now, Burnley need to change the way they're playing because they want to play attacking football. It's not going to work in the Premier League. It works in the Championship and you'll get 100+ points, but you can't do that against Premier League teams. It's just not going to work. You can't stay
It's funny
consistent.
because it's like with Burnley, it was like the complete opposite, right? They went from being the worst team in the,
Just ugly football.
Basically, there was just like 9 defenders and then Chris Wood up front, right?
Yeah.
That was pretty much how they went about it. And it worked.
Yeah.
They got enough points doing that to stay up.
Yeah. 25 points.
But ultimately, people demand more than that from their team, right? Is it a Turf Moor?
No, it is Nottingham Forest.
It's a high-scoring draw, 3-3.
High-scoring draw 3-3.
Yeah, Forest has got a lot of goals. Burnley got a lot of goals in them. 3-3.
I'm going 2-1 Forest. All right, next. Champions League group stage. I want to talk about that real quickly.
Yep, shoot.
Let's just go through it
I'll tell you the
quick
two,
fire.
I'll tell you the 2 that get out of every group. Are we on?
Yeah, sure. It's just printed badly, so I don't have Group A, all of it. That's all right. I'll come back to it. Group B, Seville, Arsenal, PSV, Lens.
Seville and Arsenal get out of the group.
Yep. Group C, Napoli. Oh God, this is printed terribly. Napoli, Real Madrid, Praga, and you know what?
Benfica.
No, that's the other group. Oh, this is terrible. Sorry. This is a cluster.
That's right. Have you got? Has Isaac got his? Maybe Isaac could just Google the Champions League groups for us, please. And pass his phone down here, and then we can do this properly.
Well, I've had a shocker. The printer's had a shocker. Look at this.
Let's do Group E for a minute.
All right, let's do Group E. Yes. Yeah. You know what? Let's just wait till we get to Group A. It's going to be a lot nicer. Thanks,
Thank you,
Isaac. Thank you. Also,
Isaac saved the day.
he's like panicking because he's watching the UFC right now, and he's.
Finished. One.
Who is that? The guy you wanted to win, or?
The white guy.
Gotcha. Yeah, that was full on. Beforehand, Isaac was going off. All right. Bayern Munich, Man United, Copenhagen, and Galatasaray.
All right. For me, it's who's the first club? Sorry.
Bayern.
Bayern and Galatasaray get out of the group.
No United.
No.
Wow. All right.
Have you seen the players Galatasaray have bought?
Is Wilfred Zaha just naming one?
Yeah, mate. There's 3 or 4 players that I think they're hard to play at home, eh?
Yeah.
You know what
Turkey.
I mean?
Yeah.
Mate. I've been to Turkey. Yep.
Yeah, nah. And then you said Seville, Arsenal.
Yep.
Napoli, Real Madrid, Praga, and Union Berlin.
Oh, look, I love Union Berlin for a lot of different reasons. I've recently been to Berlin, bought you a Union Berlin shirt, remember?
Yeah.
But no, I think the top 2 teams you just mentioned, the first 2, Napoli and Madrid.
Real Madrid. Yep. Benfica, Inter, Salzburg, and Real Sociedad. Good group.
Yeah,
good group.
Getting the top 2 get out.
Top 2, Benfica and Inter.
Yep.
Okay, sure. This is a good group too. Feyenoord, Atletico Madrid, Lazio, and Celtic. That's a good group.
Yeah.
But you can't go past
Feyenoord.
Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, Atletico and who else?
Feyenoord, Lazio, or Celtic.
Feyenoord.
Yep. PSG, Dortmund, AC Milan, and Newcastle. The group of death. The group of death. And you know what? I think PSG could come bottom of the group.
PSG?
Dortmund, AC Milan, and Newcastle.
That's anybody's guess, man.
Yeah, that could be. That could go anyway.
You throw a blanket over that,
Yeah.
right? Because previously with I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say that AC and
AC
AC
Dortmund.
Dortmund.
AC Dortmund. I don't know what to think.
No, I'm going to change it. AC and Newcastle.
Well, I'm going.
Where the lads?
Okay, all right. Was that a? No,
I don't know where that was
I
from.
don't know where that was from actually. It's like when Mum, you ask her to do a Scottish accent, she starts doing American, and you're like,
You thought she was ordering an Indian takeaway, eh?
yeah. I'm going AC and PSG.
There you go.
Kylian Mbappe. I just think
Yep.
you can't see him
I think
get
he wants
knocked
to
out.
be there. So
Fair enough, but he still, as an individual standpoint, wants to do well.
imagine how good Madrid going to be when he gets there. By the way,
Yeah, that's
Hello.
ridiculous. Yeah, Vinicius, Rodrigo,
Bellingham,
Bellingham,
the
Mbappe,
Uruguayan,
Modric,
the Uruguayan.
Valverde. Yeah. Okay, now how stupid's this group? Man City, Leipzig. I can't even say this one. Crevezda, and Young Boys.
There's a few jokes
No,
in that one, eh?
no,
There's a few jokes in that
don't.
one. Does he just Gilfie Sigurdsson play for?
Shut up! Oh wow! Oh wow! Well, we're not going.
I can guarantee you he's not playing for Young Boys.
Yeah, well, we're not going down that route. I don't know. Michael Jackson bought a club.
Oh, wow. Yeah, wow.
I think it's top two. Man City,
Is
Leipzig.
Macaulay Culkin still
Okay,
playing
that's
for-
enough. That's enough. That's enough.
Yeah.
Man City, RB Leipzig.
Yep. Agree.
Yeah. With this group, I only think one team in this whole group deserves to go through. That'll be Home Alone.
Talk to me.
And last group, Group H, Barca, Porto, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Antwerp.
Top two, Porto and
Barca. Barca have been knocked out the last two.
Barca,
You reckon? All right.
Against those two teams. Come on.
All right, there you go. Well, we're going to finish off with the game. Thanks, Isaac. Thank you.
Saved our bacon. And
Saved
winner
our
of the Europa
bacon.
League, Liverpool, by the way.
Okay. Yep, and then Conference League. Do we care?
So I had a Man United fan the other day trying to say, "Oh, you're playing the Europa League," and I looked at him and I said, "Is that all you have? You've got Harry Maguire and
Johnny Evans.
Johnny Evans playing at the back, and you're making fun of me for being in the Europa League."
Yes. Anyway. Okay, we're going to finish off with the game. Guess the age. Do you know the rules of this?
No.
Guess the age. So I'm going to give you a player. If you're one over, one under. Okay. No. If
I was just trying to focus.
if any other guests did that, I would be very concerned. I'm going to give you a player, and if you guess the age one over or one under, it's half a point.
Yep.
If you get it on the money, it's 1 point.
Hit me, Wesley.
Mesut Ozil.
Does he have to be a current player?
No.
Okay. Just checking the rules here.
No, it doesn't have to be.
Mesut Ozil.
I changed it. Yeah, no, it doesn't have to be a current player.
34.
Yes. What?
30
How did you know that?
34 years old. Next.
If you get them all right, you've looked at the sheet. Victor Osimhen.
Oh, Victor Osimhen.
Is it like a reflection or?
No, I'm just practicing my happiness and emotional control.
Oh wow, it's on the board, is it? Nah.
Victor Osimhen is 26 years old.
26. He's 24, so you don't get half a point for that.
Sure.
1 out of 2 so far. Edison, the Man City goalkeeper.
31.
Half a point. He's 30. So 1.5 out of 3. Joel Matip.
Joel Matip. I love him. I love the way he talks. He's awesome.
Joel Matip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know he's German, but he's Cameroonian, right?
Yeah.
So Joel Matip is 32.
Yes, he is. So you got 2.5 out of 4.
Mm-hmm.
Gabriel Jesus.
He's older than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's 28.
No, he's 26.
There you go.
There you go. So what's that? 1 and
I
a
got
half.
2.5 right so far.
2.5 out of 5.
There you go.
That's it. So you got half of them
50%
correct.
right.
50%. Take that. Well, thank you very much for joining me on episode 7 of Inside Right.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
You'll be back.
I have no problem with being a panic button. You know?
Yeah. Well, you'll probably be back if all goes well. Christmas with Damo. Back on.
Wow. Christmas with Tamo. Do we get to wear Santa suits and
Well,
stuff?
I'm thinking of getting Inside Right ugly sweaters.
Are we gonna
But
release-
it's hot, so I'm not sure. It's summer, so I have to put the
Put
aircons
the air
on.
on. We can make it like -4 in here.
Hawaiian shirts. Inside Right Hawaiian.
I have
Hawaiian shirt.
what's it in media when you have an exclusive? It's called a Is it okay? Everyone loves a smart ass, Isaac. Yeah, right. So I'm going to let people in on exclusives today.
Sorry? Oh,
I'm gonna
yes.
let people
Yeah,
in,
sure.
in on exclusives.
The floor is yours. I think I know what this is about.
Okay. Your mother and I. No, I'm just kidding. We're having a baby. No, just kidding.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
We are going to be recording an episode of Inside Right in Liverpool in 6 weeks' time.
Yes.
Wes and I are flying over on Monday.
Yep.
We're getting there Wednesday. We're stopping in Singapore.
Yep.
We are then going up to Liverpool from London to watch the Thursday night Liverpool versus Toulouse.
Toulouse.
Hopefully we don't Toulouse.
No, we won't. Well, to
we
win.
want it to win, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, only my son would find that funny. And then on Sunday we're going to watch Liverpool play Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
And we've got a we're going to record a podcast in the interim. We're going to try and get some guests on.
Good guests on. We'll try our best.
This space.
I thought you were going to talk about announcing your own thing.
Well, double exclusive.
Yeah, double exclusive.
Definitely to win.
Definitely. Yeah.
This is almost like too much. It's not exclusive. There's another. There's another word which I
It's
I'm sounding like you're.
DJing.
Yeah.
It's.
I have my own podcast.
Yeah.
Which is
coming
being
out
released
soon.
in
The 2nd of
3
October.
weeks or 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
There you
Yeah, it's not about football because there's enough quality podcasts.
Well, since this one's came out, of course. Yeah.
You know, and no, it's about business. It's particularly about small to medium-sized businesses and success stories.
In Australia.
Yeah, and not like big ones like Guzman and Mike Gomez or people. As much as I'd love to interview Steve Marks, but it really speaks about people that I know and some I don't know about their own business journeys and stories and what success means to them. And just some really interesting stuff that people that own businesses would be interested in listening to. So it's called Running with the Bull.
Yes.
I'm the bull, and there's no great surprise in that.
Yeah.
Wes came up with the name, which is pretty cool because my logo is our logo of a bull at work.
Yeah.
And yeah, really excited to pump that out. Maybe I might do a little cross collaboration deal here where you guys can
Come on as a
do
guest.
some advertising or something on
Season 2.
Might do some. Hey, where's my Mexican drink, by the way?
Yeah, you're not supposed to talk about that yet.
Okay.
Okay.
I can't do 3 exclusives in one show, so
No.
I'm going to leave it at 2. Wes, thank you very much for having me.
8-part series for Running with the Bull.
Yes.
8-part series, once every fortnight, is it? Or we still
Haven't decided yet.
haven't decided?
Yeah, I've still got one to record. Just one. I've got we're doing a re-record on one, but we're doing a re-record just to do some technical matters. But we're doing a record tomorrow.
Yep.
With a gentleman from South Australia who's coming up for the day.
Yep.
So looking forward to that.
Sounds good. Very good.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Well, thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, bud.
Well, let's get this
No
handshake
boys
right this
and
time.
Miss Will
There we
handshakes
go.
here, man.
Yeah. Okay. See ya.